Hey guys, Andrew Esquivel here back with another review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Digital DM1 Dual TDS Meter. Now this little guy hooks up to the water lines connecting to your reverse osmosis filtration system. So over here I've got my little RO buddy. Now excuse the little toilet here, this is a room that was unfinished, and it's my fish room, believe it or not. Yes, I know I got a toilet in my fish room, but this is where this toilet actually makes sense. Let me explain. So we have three main lines for an RO system. We've got the supply line that takes whatever water you're trying to filter that goes into the system. We've got the waste line that takes all the concentrated bad water and dumps it away, which is actually just going into this toilet. So yes, this thing actually serves a purpose. And we have the clean water line, which puts our clean water into the basin that I have right here, which I then remineralize later down the line for my fish. Now, here's the thing. RO systems have multiple stages and a membrane. We've got the sediment cartridge, we've got the carbon cartridge, and we've got the RO membrane. If you have RODI, there'll also be a DI stage, and there's also more complex systems out there. But the point is, eventually, these cartridges will need to be replaced, as well as the membrane. Now, the question becomes, how do you know when those cartridges need to be replaced? Well, you can expect a certain amount of filtration from your RO or RODI system. And the easiest way to monitor that is by monitoring what is known as the TDS, or total dissolved solids. Now, in most cases, your RO system should be producing around 25 TDS or less, depending on the supply line. In my case, my supply line has got a relatively high TDS, so it has more stuff it has to filter out, so it won't be as pure as some other people's water, because I have well water, a private well, that is a very high TDS to begin with, so my filters get worn out pretty quick. Now the question is, just how bad is it? This little tool makes it very simple, because I can just turn it on, and I have it set to the inline, and I can see on the inline I have 622 TDS. That's pretty high. So that's the water coming in, and the water being produced has a TDS of 189. Now that's a problem, because 189 is far higher than what the TDS should be for what I'm producing for my basin here. It should be closer to 15 TDS. So I've got a good indication now that I really need to replace the filters. Now on top of that, I don't have much of any water coming out of here, so pretty much everything is shot and needs to be replaced. But nevertheless, this helps you monitor it over time and keep things easy to understand. Now you can get models of this that have 3 connections. One for the water supply in, one for the clean water out, and one for the dirty water out, in case you want to monitor all 3. Now, that is nice, but at the very least, you want to monitor the 2 here, the supply line and the clean line. That's the more important stuff to take a look at and keep in mind. Now, how do you implement this little guy? Well, that's the best part. It comes with everything you need to implement it, and it's super quick and super easy. So you see we have some wires right here. These wires go to the 2 different little nodes that connect directly to the lines for your RODI system. Now all you got to do is cut the line, put this T valve in, and connect the little electrode thing that wires up to the meter. And that's it. I just did 1 T line for the supply and 1 T line for the clean water. All you got to do at that point is just turn it on and monitor it. It's super, super simple. And these things come factory calibrated straight out of the box, so you don't need to worry about calibrating it down the line. It should work perfectly fine. Now, I will say this. The first one of these that I got, one of the wires was broke. Because as you can see, we've got a little, let me try and focus, there we go. We've got a little section here where we have a bunch of wires connecting. One of the wires was broke, and there really isn't any way to repair it with the way that it was at. If it was further down along this way, I could have just resoldered and shrink wrapped, but it was broke right at the connection. So I had to replace it. But I think that has something to do with the cold weather, honestly. These are small wires, and it was like negative 15 degrees. So maybe it was damaged in shipping because of that. One of the wires just couldn't handle the cold. And something broke along the way. But the point is, I've got a new one, and this one works perfectly fine. So all in all, for a quick solution to monitor the health of your RO system, I'd say this is a good product. HM Digital does a really good job with their TDS meters. A lot of people like their stuff. I actually have their TDS3 handheld pen meter, and I use it a lot on my tanks just to see where they're at. And now I can measure the important details of my RO buddy, so I can know when to change things out. And hopefully, the next time around when I replace all the cartridges on this thing soon, I will be able to better understand what's going on and get better life out of my filter. So that way I can play it a little better and make things last a little longer. But the point is, this little thing works great. I like it. It's very simple. The only gripe is that on the T-lines, there's no little blue connection pieces. So if you're familiar with these lines, you just shove the tube in there and you pull it out. It's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. Once you push it in and you pull out, it creates some sort of connection that makes it really hard to pull out. But normally there's a little blue plastic piece that keeps this little part pulled up so that it doesn't come undone. Because if you've got a lot of pressure going into your system, which that's what you want most of the time for an RO system, RO systems like pressure, up to a certain point, of course. There have been mentions about these leaking because they don't come with the blue plastic clips, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's these things right here, these little plastic clips that hold this piece you see right here in between. This goes up and down, and that's how you disconnect. If you want to disconnect, you push this down and then pull this out. You want that little blue piece to prevent it from being pushed down, so that way the water line doesn't accidentally get pulled out. Because if you use something like a booster pump or something to increase the pressure on the RO system, you're working at a higher pressure, which is good for the RO system, but you might have some problems at these connection points because they didn't come with those blue pieces. Now, yeah, you can get them for cheap, but the fact of the matter is they really should have came with those blue connections in the first place. They're only like a cent or two, literally a few cents to put it in, and that's the only problem. Now, I don't have a super high pressure system, and I would love to have a booster pump, but until that time, I'm working with what I got. It's just something that I've read from other reviewers that I want to keep out there so that you all know, just in case. But long story short, this little thing works very well. I like it, and you can actually take these little electrodes or connection pieces out of the T-line and put it into whatever other system that you can think of. But it's set up for the T-line right now. So it does come with the T-line. It comes with all the wires, comes with this, comes with the battery in it. It also comes with some Velcro on the bottom of this. That's why it's able to stick to my little basin here. But I think I've rambled on long enough. You get the point. It's a good product. I recommend it. It's cool, and it helps monitor the health of your system. So I definitely know I got to replace my stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope this review was helpful. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, show your friends, check out my other videos. I got plenty of them. And as always, I'll see you next time. Stay fishy.